Hello everyone, welcome to Starsight. Today we are going to think about your relational patterns, not just in romantic relationships in general. The way we relate to others stems from a number of different factors and structures within the psyche. Part of those structures are hidden to us, they are not known to us. And sometimes those bits of us act in ways that are opposed to our professed values, even. So let's say that we are not selfish in general, but there's a way in which selfishness plays a role in our relationships, or we are not generally greedy or envious, but these aspects of the lower self play out in our relationships without us fully understanding why. The other people in our lives feel it, they resent it, but when they bring it to us, we are not able to connect to their descriptions to the way we're functioning. So, this reading here is for us to understand our own relational shadow better, for us to understand any hidden motive that may be expressing itself in the way that we relate to others. Okay. So we have three piles here: full spectrum, balanced forces, and loving compassion. Pick your pile. If you need more time, please pause the video. And for those of you who are ready, let's look at the readings. Alright, pile 1, full spectrum. I feel here a person who is very independent, very sure of themselves. You have a good balance of independence and also wanting to be with others. You take a lot of time for yourself, a lot of alone time, which is great. There's an honesty to you. You are already in touch with your shadow. You're aware of your wounds, you're aware of your pain, sources of suffering in your life that have been there for a long time. But you've learned over time not to suppress them, not to bury them, but to actually live with them, to be in a relationship with those sources of suffering. I feel like the work that we're trying to do in this reading, you've already done a lot of it yourself. There's a balanced person here. Possibly you're also involved in spiritual work. You've been meditating. It's a person who's done a lot of inner work already. There is a very beautiful place that quietness has in your life. I think possibly what we're going to get here, or part of the message that we're going to get here, is about you learning to trust yourself again. You've done such deep work on yourself. You've seen so many bits of you that have been shadowy, and you've learned to live with them, right? Not just suppress them. And I think now you have to learn how to live with them in a relationship. You may be hesitating at this point to completely invest into your current relationships, or let them deepen, or let them see more of you, for you to depend more on them. It's not that you're afraid of the other person seeing you, it's just you know yourself really well, and you understand that there are these aspects of you where you don't yet have control over yourself. You don't want to subject the other to your darkness. And there may be a hidden motive in that. Like you may think, oh, I'm doing the right thing here. I want to do more work on myself before I, let someone else in. But actually there might be there might be something happening there that you're not aware of. Let's see. Ace of Swords. You have a very clear sense of who you are. Queen of Cups. Two of Cups in reverse, yeah. So you could have started doing this work on yourself after a relationship fell apart, after some relationship that you were extremely involved in emotionally. It just didn't work out. It feels also like it was not your illusions, it was not you misunderstanding the other person. You really understood what the relationship was about. You really understood what the potential was here. You gave a lot to this relationship emotionally. I feel like you also saw the other person very clearly. And it was clarity, but it was also love. So even if you saw the other person's darkness, you saw the other person's shadow, it was unconditional love from your side, as much as we're capable of. But it fell apart, and it really shook you and made you question a lot of things about yourself, about what you want, why it happened. Though you understand that both of you were involved in this collapse in some way, you've been very good about focusing on your role, without blaming the other, without thinking, okay, it is all the other person's fault. You see their role and you see yours. But in doing this, you embarked upon a path of general self work, general inner work. What's coming up right now is that you're now again at a point that you can actually be in a relationship, loving relationship with someone else. You're ready once again to get to know someone, be with them in a sort of be with them in a deep way, or I just mean like be with them in a variety of ways. Like open yourself up to friendship, open yourself up to love, open yourself up to witnessing. You're ready for all of that, but you're thinking about this past relationship and wondering if you've actually done enough work to not repeat the role that you played in that other relationship. You're really afraid right now of I think what happened in the past is you saw everything clearly accept this one thing, which was that the other person wasn't ready for this relationship. They weren't ready, and you weren't able to gauge that about them. Or you told yourself they will be. So that particular thing has made you feel doubtful about your relational decisions. Am I really able to see things clearly, or do I engage in wishful thinking? I was in love with potential. I wasn't actually getting what I was giving. This stuff has made you really question how you operate in a relationship at the level of judgment, fantasy, reality. But there is a hidden motive in you trying to figure this out. You're trying to protect something. I think you love daydreaming. You love fantasizing. It unlocks something deeper in you. Maybe your creative energies, maybe your spiritual abilities even. And I think it's hard for you to balance these two aspects of your wishful thinking. One is positive, which is that it unlocks a deeper level of life experience for you. But on the other, then it also makes you misjudge the relationship itself. Let's see more. Yeah, the bloom, creations realized, right time. Harvest, celebrate. We are nature, becoming grounded, living in connection, embodiment. The reunion, soul recognition, collaboration, partnership, friendship. These feel like a great confirmation of what we've been saying so far, that it is the right time for you to get into newer relationships, that you're ready for connection, you're ready for soul recognition, collaboration, partnership, and friendships. But there is something here that I'm trying to tune into that feels just slightly beyond the reach of the conscious mind. Pile one, you have come into this lifetime with relationships as your prime focus. Again, not just romantic relationships, relationships in general, as your prime focus. It is the vehicle through which you learn your biggest lessons. It is the container through which you bloom. The hidden motive here is actually very innocent, which is that you may have in the past felt really self-conscious about the fact that you invested in relationships that were not perfect, that were not ideal. The hidden motive here is that you wanted to do that. It's not that you hid from yourself that this relationship is not perfect or the other person is not yet ready. You wanted that experience. Something inside of you was okay with the imperfections. Something inside you wanted to take a chance, wanted to take a risk. You wanted to evolve through that particular situation. You wanted to experience whatever it was, good and bad. You may be putting too much pressure on yourself right now, thinking, I only want good relationships now. I only want relationships where things are equal and, perfect, and I want to make the right decision. I don't want to put myself through fire. But the hidden thing here is that you like the fire. You enjoy it. There's both good and bad too. That too. You're actually okay with not knowing whether a relationship is good or not in the beginning. You're okay with exploring. You're okay with letting things, settle in its own time. This is a great strength. Because you went through so much pain through that past relationship, you could have been telling yourself, I put myself through that. I did that. I caused myself so much pain. Not in a blame kind of a way, but again, just like noticing your role in things. And your message today is, that's you. There is a deep curiosity within you about relationships, about both the light and the shadow aspects of relating to others. And you like having different experiences. Like someone who loves traveling, some of those traveling experiences are going to be amazing and some of them not so great. But that is what traveling is about, right? And so for you, the message is don't put so much pressure on yourself. Don't think I only want aligned relational experiences. Allow yourself to have all kinds of experiences the way that, follow the thread of your intuition. Even if you know that, okay, this relationship, there are these problems here, but if your intuition says, I still want to experience this, I still want to see what this is about, go for it. You can handle it. This is not about lying to yourself. This is not about creating illusions for yourself. Something that you might have done before. You might have known that the other person wasn't ready, but you told yourself they will be. That is definitely something that you can avoid. You don't have to create any kind of illusions, but it's okay if some aspects are not quite aligned and yet you want to experience them. Full spectrum. You're here to experience the fullness of the relational experience. And that means everything, right? Everything. Of course, I'm not saying put yourself in harmful situations, but you feel like a person who's done enough work to have that kind of discernment. Let's see more. Transformation, yes. And alignment, yes. Okay. The thing is that when you are in close relationships with others, they are containers both of transformation for you, but also they are the means through which you align with yourself. They are the means through which you come to understand who you really are. This is true for everyone, but for you it feels really heightened by one. So look at your astrology too. Maybe you have a full seventh house. Maybe you have your sun in the seventh house or your ruling planet in the seventh house, which makes relationships really, really important for you. I feel also that if you take off this pressure from yourself about we must only be in good aligned relationships right now, you may actually learn to sift through them pretty fast. Like whatever you need to learn from those not quite perfect relational experiences, I think you'll unlock those lessons much quickly and in easier ways than you expect, and then it'll be easier for you to keep moving. What happened in the relationship in the past that you may have gotten stuck in it for years, not being able to stay, not being able to leave, and you're afraid of being stuck again. But if you just allow yourself to have that experience in its fullness, I think you'll be able to move much easier. Alright, pile one. So to summarize, a hidden motive in your relational decisions right now, in your relational patterns right now, is that you're trying to protect yourself. You're trying to protect yourself from stuckness. You're trying to protect yourself from non-aligned relational experiences, whereas your message is no. If your intuition says go for it, trust yourself that you'll be able to go through it, explore it in whatever ways you are curious about, and emerge from it transformed, emerge from it stronger. This is not about you torturing yourself and putting yourself through torturous situations, but this is about you feeling, this is about you really exploring what alignment is for you anyway. Because from a distance something can feel aligned that is not actually aligned, and when you're in the thick of it, when you are in the actual details of it, you may unlock an alignment that you could have never imagined. So this is about letting yourself do all of those explorations. This is about letting yourself unravel. It's okay to take the risk that you want to take. It's okay to have the full experience that you want to have. Go for it, pile one. Alright, that's your message. Sending you a lot of love. Hello, pile 2. Though this says balanced forces here, I'm looking at the face of this figure, the hands, and I feel the energies here of someone who really wants to be in close relationships right now, who's desperate for them. Maybe you have felt alone for a while. And I think you've been making good use of that aloneness, working on yourself, working on your solar plexus, working on your throat, but the aloneness has been getting to you. And this feels like a person who's saying, I'm all balanced now, where is my relationship? I'm ready now, where is it? There's also a little bit of anger towards life. Maybe your relationships in the past haven't been too great, have left you feeling disappointed, perhaps even used, and so you you embarked on a journey of empowerment. You've been working on yourself, but it still feels like life is not rewarding you. You feel like you're not being given what you're owed. How long am I to wait? How long is it going to take? How much work am I still supposed to do before my relationship arrives? And this is not just a romantic relationship. I think this is also friends. This is also a yearning for your soul tribe, for people who understand you, for people who won't hesitate giving to you. Yeah, very, very angry here, pile too. It's not a bad thing, just reading the energy. Justice, yeah, where is my justice? Where is my wish fulfillment? The Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Here is our shadow. Pile 2. This is going to be a difficult message. Okay, so please take care of yourself. If you feel like you're not ready for it, just click off. Okay, if you feel like you really want to work with it, you want to see where this message can take you, then be patient with yourself. Listen to it. Take a few hours with it. Take a few days with it. Don't force yourself to accept it if it's hurting too much. Just sit with it. Let the acceptance come slowly. Okay? The hidden motive for you in your relationships is that you want others to love you as a condition for self-love. For whatever reason, this could be early childhood history, this could be past life wounds. You tell yourself that you're going to love yourself, you love yourself, but only after someone else loves you. You want someone else to fulfill the function that self-love needs to fulfill within you. And this is not because self-love is blocked for you in some way. I think there is just intense pleasure and meaning for you in being loved by others. But it has become, or it has been for a long time, a kind of addiction. You know, with addictions, we can read it in one way and say, well, addiction is about loving yourself, about giving yourself pleasure, about, if you need to escape in the moment, you're letting yourself do that, and that is loving yourself. But it's not, because self-love is not about enabling your wounds, but about sitting with them, not indulging your shadow, but about resolving them, about healing them. So self-love is love in this sense is not just about pampering yourself or letting yourself be. Self-love is also about accountability. Self-love is also about looking at yourself clearly and making changes where changes are required. Self-love is not just always beautiful business of seeing yourself in the highest light and feeling all kinds of positive things towards yourself. Self-love is clear sight. Now, in your life, psychically, relationships have been this place where relationships are what you turn to when the demands of self-love become too much. So I'm going to retrace our steps here a little bit, summarize the reading so far. You have been working on yourself for the past few years so that you can be in good relationships, that you can be in loving relationships. However, this working on yourself is predicated on some kind of avoidance. You're working on yourself to be in relationships, but relationships themselves are a site of escape for you. Relationships themselves are a site of distraction from you, a place of intense pleasure and fantasy and meaning that actually take you away from the work of really looking at yourself, looking at why you want other people to love you so badly. There is something at stake here, pile 2. It is not just a natural longing for others. Yes, we all want to be loved. Yes, we all want to be in good relationships. But there is something extra here. You want to be loved also because somewhere inside of you, you're not able to give that to yourself. So there could be some hidden judgments that you feel towards yourself, feelings of shame towards yourself that you deal with when other people are loving to you. You deal with those feelings of shame and judgment by being around people who don't shame you, don't judge you. But the feelings within you, they remain. You want other people that you can trust to tell you it's okay. You want other people that you can trust to say, you are really beautiful to me. You want to lean into that. Other people's positive regard for you, other people's positive perceptions of you. But you want to lean into that also because there are negative perceptions of you very much alive within. So you've been working, the work that you've been doing to be in loving relationships, you've been working on your relational side. Let's say on your ability to trust others, on your insecurities, learning what it means to act in balanced ways with others. But what you now need to work on, or what you now need to focus on, is your relationship to your own self. Because there are some problems there. I don't mean problems in the sense of something's wrong. I just mean problems in the sense that you don't like yourself, pile 2. You don't like yourself. And the guidance here is not, okay, you need to like yourself, you need to love yourself. You need to actually understand and accept that there are parts of you that you don't like. It's okay. You don't have to convert it into like. But you have to understand that, you have to accept that, maybe even figure out what is at the basis of your dislike. there is a fear that you have participated in things that have been evil in some way. So maybe there were family secrets when you were younger, and you were asked by adults to keep secrets for them. You have seen as a child someone very close to you act in extremely selfish ways that perhaps benefited you, and you did not say anything, you did not expose them or fight them. There's a way in which you feel really dirty inside, pile 2. And this could also be something that you're not responsible for at all. So I know that if we've gone through child abuse, or if we've gone through sexual abuse as a child, or even emotional, verbal, physical abuse, sometimes we end up blaming ourselves for it. Sometimes we end up feeling dirty for it, though we are not responsible for someone abusing us. It feels something like that inside of you, you feel dirty. And that is so unbearable, that is so intolerable. That you yearn to be in relationships with others where they can take you away from that feeling, where they can shower you with so much love and positive regard that you don't quite remember that inside of you feel dirty. You know that they can't take that feeling away from you, but they can make you forget. That's what you want from your relationships. Make me forget how I feel about myself. This is your hidden motive, pile 2. Make me forget how I feel about myself. Do you hear the dogs? It feels like a confirmation that something deeper within you is suffering right now. You want someone to look at you like this figure in the 9 of Cups, to make you forget how you feel when you look into the mirror. Let's see more. The Rose of Venus, alignment, flow, right relationship, harmony. The child within, yeah, this does feel like an early childhood issue. What's coming up? Wasteland, sustainability, slow down, tend to your garden. Yes, you're again, I don't mean to judge you, pile 2, at all, yeah, but because this is a difficult message, it may sound to you a little bit like you're feeling exposed, or you're hearing things about yourself that don't feel good. Just stay with it. I'm with you in this, not judging you at all, but trying to help you make sense of what's happening in your life. Okay, so I think you're very, very fixated on the image of the right relationship, the ultimate relationship, the true relationship, true love. But your guides are asking you to focus on you, your relationship to yourself. There is deep suffering here, there is deep shame here that you need to work with. You need to work with yourself gently and with tenderness. You need to slow down in your quest for the right relationship. The thing is that no matter how much you work on your relational self, if you don't work on this hidden motive, if you are looking to someone else to help you forget how you feel about yourself, it is not going to work. It is not going to be sustainable in the long run. Even if the other person is right for you, even if the other person is loving towards you, even if the other person is everything you need them to be, if the relationship is predicated on avoidance, of wanting to be distracted from your own self, that is going to break down sooner or later. And so your guides are absolutely affirming that the right relationship will be available to you. It will happen. But first, you need to really get in touch with who you are, how you feel about yourself. If there have been things in the past that have made you feel ashamed of yourself, please look into that. Work with someone else if you can. Work with a therapist here if you can. Work with a healer here if you can, to help you really understand what happened in the past, what kinds of effects those events left on you psychically and energetically and emotionally. There could be events in the past where you were responsible, where you did something wrong, but there could also have been events in the past where you did nothing wrong, where you were victimized, where you were abused by others. So both possibilities are there. And this is now an aspect of your history as a person that you need to release, that you need to work with. You think you're very, very afraid it's going to feel so horrible and so bad. You won't be able to bear it. But actually your guides are saying there is so much relief that you're going to unlock through this work. By actually coming to terms with how you feel about yourself, you are going to unlock so much positive regard for yourself. See more. Surrender. Yes. Shine your light. Oh, this feels... Oh, I have goosebumps. This feels really good and deep, and this is the true love that you're looking for, pile 2. It's yourself. Being able to love yourself, being able to live in the shelter of yourself, of your whole self. This is what unconsciously you're looking for in others. You're looking for peace within. You're looking to for an opportunity to be at home in your own body. You're not at home in your own body right now, pile 2. Which is why you feel like someone else has to create that home for you. Relationships have to be that home for you, you think, but actually it's you. And I know that for a bit, it's going to feel like you're giving up pleasure and meaning to do this very difficult work. But actually, as you start doing it, it is going to feel pleasurable too. Working with yourself is going to feel joyful also. For some reason, you think that intense pleasure and meaning that you get from an other person's recognition or from the way they look at you, you can't have that in any other part of your life. You can't have it in any other way. It's not true. It's just that for whatever reason you haven't experienced that with yourself yet, doesn't mean that it's not possible, doesn't mean that you can't give it to yourself. Shine your light. I think both of these messages, surrender, shine your light, are your guides encouraging you to do this work. You are your own light. You are the love of your life. This is something that you may intellectually think but don't emotionally feel. It's time to make it real. Being the love of your own life. You're ready for this work because you have been working on yourself. You are now ready for this deeper work. So pile 2, to summarize, your hidden motive in your relationship decisions, in your relationship patterns, is that so far you've looked to others to distract you from how you feel about yourself. And it's time now for you to really work on that. Work on your relationship with yourself, not with others. All right, pile 2, that's your message. I know it was a difficult message. There is so much support here from your guides. So much love here from them. I hope it will strengthen you and inspire you to do this work that you are seeking to do. This feeling of love that you seek in your own life. I'm sending you my love too. Take care, pile 2. All right, pile 3. Actually, pile 3, hold on for a second. I'm going to go get some water. All right, pile 3. Loving compassion. Very generous person here. You might be in relationships right now where you give a lot to others. You're always there for people to turn to. And not just intimate relationships. I think in general, you're a very helpful person. Perhaps, you're very invested in community building. So you open yourself up to people who are not close to you even. If they need something from you, if they need something in their life, you're very approachable. You may have even picked a profession that speaks to these aspects of you, where maybe you're a therapist, maybe you're a healer, maybe you're a coach. You can also be working as an activist in non-profit organizations. Basically, it feels like it's your life's mission to help others, to be present to others. It's not even actively helping others. I think your presence itself is enough sometimes for the other person to get what they need. The thing though, the feeling I have from this energy though, is that this is all true at an objective level. This is all true at an intellectual level, but emotionally, this role is either taking too much out of you, or there is some self-oriented objective here, self-oriented motive here that you hide from yourself. For example, people who have a relational pattern of being a martyr in their relationships, of being the one who does the maximum, being the one who is always the first to sacrifice. On the surface, at an objective level, it can look like, well, they are the one who are selfless, they are the one who are not selfish. But actually, people who have that kind of a pattern, they are sacrificing themselves to feel good about themselves. They're sacrificing themselves to sometimes unconsciously have an upper hand over the other person. So there is something sneaky about what you give to others right now. And Pile 3, this is not a judgment at all. Yeah, we're just trying to understand what might be operating within you in the background that you don't fully understand. So whatever's hidden sometimes has aspects of the shadow of the lower self. That is pretty normal, pretty ordinary. So don't listen to this, if possible. Don't listen to this with that kind of dread. Oh, what horrible thing I'm going to discover about myself. Instead, listen to this with curiosity and openness. Okay, we all have lower selves, and maybe one aspect of your lower self is expressing itself through your generosity. So let's understand that better so that you can help that lower self and actually liberate your generosity from it, so that that generosity is truer and more real. Because there's no doubt about that. You are a generous person. You are a loving, compassionate person who gives to others. Ten of Coins in reverse. 9 of Wands in reverse. 10 of Swords. Yeah, you're definitely at a point where this giving has taken too much out of you. And it's made you question, it has made you question if it's the right thing to be this generous. If you're actually harming yourself by being so generous, by being so giving. So the first bit of guidance for you, Pile 3, is that no, this is who you are. You are a giver. Don't question that. But yes, we can figure out what is a more sustainable way for you to give. And also, if the drainage that has happened, if the exhaustion that has happened because of some hidden motive, because you were trying to gain something out of giving, and that is what has exhausted you. Maybe that has led you to people with whom giving has been a pain. And for example, if you have in the past befriended or fallen in love with people who need a strong disciplined force in their life, who have trouble focusing on their own purpose, and they've unconsciously looked for someone who can help them get on the right path, and you've unconsciously looked for someone who you can help get on the right path. And that has become like a source of exhaustion for you. But it doesn't mean that you need to stop giving to others. You need to find relationships, be in relationships where giving is a pleasure, where giving is nourishing to you, where giving is a choice that you make every day, and that choice itself becomes its own purpose for you. I feel also that there is some root chakra issue here. So you may be drawn to people who have imbalanced root chakras, who are insecure about themselves, about their purpose in life, about their role in their life, their own role in their life. They may be unduly dependent on others, and you go in feeling this person is struggling, let me help them. But perhaps you are also looking for an assurance that, I see what this is. Sorry about the dogs, pile 3. So what's happening here, pile 3, is that your sense of self is really predicated on your ability and capacity to give to others. Okay? You could have been someone who has healing energy from a very young age, and you have been taught, or you have learned that by giving to others, you will also be loved by them. You've gotten into a habit, unconscious habit, of thinking that you will be loved only if you give to others. Or if you are the generous person in a relationship, you are the giver in a relationship, you will always be needed by them. They will not leave you, they will not abandon you, others will not leave you if they need you. That's the hidden motive here, pile 3. You want to be needed by others, which is why you give as deeply as you do. Right now, it is possible to give from a different place, and you will figure that out. But right now, one of the hidden motives here is that you give so deeply because you want to be needed, because you want to feel loved. And this has exhausted you, which is so understandable, because you've been drawn to people who are not able to sustain themselves. And so you give to them, but they're not able to give back to you. And giving to them by itself is not nourishing, by itself is not meaningful, because it's possible that these others in your life have then become really dependent on you rather than cultivating independence for themselves. They haven't really been able to appreciate the gift of love that you have given to them, because they have been in their own unhealed dynamic. They have attached to you as if you were a parent figure who will keep giving infinitely, who will never stop. So they have dealt with their own insecurities by treating you as a infinite parent figure, and you have dealt with your insecurities by treating them as your children. There's a two-way dynamic here, and this is what has exhausted you. There's so much exhaustion, pile 3, that I can feel it even in you listening to this message. Like, can you please like wrap it up? Sub Rosa, hidden in plain sight, mysteries, learning and teaching, healing the motherline, healing ancestral work, motherline growing up. Heart healing, oh my god, all three cards about healing and learning. The breathing rose, heart healing, emotions, connection, time eases. Yeah, this definitely feels like a childhood pattern where you have been told that you have to give to others in order to be loved. Even as a child, you may have been told by your parents to, do things in the household that generally children are not expected to do. You might have, I mean, this could be other people making you feel this way, but this could also be something that you came into this lifetime with. So this is not to blame others, but just for you to understand your own child's self. For some reason, you believe, pile 3, that you have to earn other people's love. That you can't just expect it. You can't just have it. You have to keep proving yourself. There's an extractive relational pattern that is embedded unconsciously for you. One person, each person, no, or how do I put it? It's like you give and you get, they give and they get. Sorry, something's coming through. I'm trying to listen. You haven't felt loved by your parent figures. I think that you learned as a child to give to them, to sacrifice yourself for them. You realized early on that they needed your love. This is the healer in you, pile 3. This is the authentic, heart-centered healer in you, who saw how deeply your parents felt unloved in their own life. And this is where your soul knowledge sort of kicked in, and you understood that they needed love in a profound way. And you rose to the occasion. This is beautiful. You rose to the occasion. However, at the egoic level, you were still a child. And so what that did was it activated your healing side, your capacity to give love to those who need it, but it also got joined with this relational understanding that that's the only way you will be seen. That is the only way that you will receive some love. Because when your parents started feeling that love from you, then they needed you. Or when your parents start experiencing how much you were doing for them, they would, I don't feel like they started loving you back in that heart-centered way, but I do feel that your role in their life got magnified such that it was then not possible to abandon you. And this is something you've internalized. Now your guides are saying to you, you're ready to be a healer. Okay, it doesn't mean you actually become a professional healer. I mean healer archetypally. So regardless of what you're doing, you can be working in any area of the world, but it's your archetype that is that of a healer. So even if you're doing technical work, even if you're a programmer, even if you're a secretary, anything that you do, you bring healing energy to it. So your guides are saying that you're ready to be a healer in the true sense of the word, without letting your personal needs get in the way, without letting your emotional needs get in the way of wanting to be loved by others. By doing this, you will actually be liberating your healing capacity from your need to be loved. And that way, you'll be able to actually give what you have to give to others in a much vaster, realer way. Now, for that to happen, you need consciously to understand that healing love is different from personal love, right? So, for example, the love that I am experiencing for you right now, in the presence of your soul, in the presence of your guides, the love that I experience for you as a being with divine energy, is not the same as the love that I feel towards my partner, or the love that I feel with my friends. Healing capacity or healing love, that it's more like a vast container where you simply hold others to the point that they remember their own divinity. Okay? It's not a relationship, it's a container. I'm not in a relationship with you right now. You're not in a relationship with me. But we're together in this container of a tarot reading to help both of us remember that we are divine, that we are sacred. But you are not getting involved in my relational patterns. I'm not getting involved in yours. This is what you need to understand about your giving. Okay? The kind of giving that you need to do has to be impersonal in this sense. It doesn't mean non-emotional. It means that you're simply holding space for the other without getting entangled in their own complexes, without getting entangled in their wounds. For that to happen, you have to understand that your personal relationships are where you get involved in the other person's field. Okay? That's where you see each other, you experience exchanges with each other, you allow yourself to be given to and received by the other. I hope this makes sense, pile 3. Relationships, personal relationships are very different from healing containers. Now, you need to be in personal relationships where you're not the giver or not the only giver. In your personal relationships, there needs to be an equal exchange. So you don't have to be a healer with your loved ones. You don't have to be constantly rescuing them. You don't have to be constantly there for them. You can also expect them to be there for you. So your personal relationships need a different relational template, not that of you being a healer, but there being that of equality. Or if you are the healer, even in your personal relationships, then you need to be with people who protect your energy, who do not use it, who give to you in their own way, even if it's different. But it cannot be that in your personal relationships, you are the only giver. So bringing that into balance, separating your personal relationships from your healing abilities is going to really liberate you to be an extreme extremely powerful healer, extremely powerful soul worker in the world. This journey to wholeness, an air paradigm shift, yes. I think this is the paradigm shift that your guides need you to experience right now. Separate your healing abilities from your personal relationships. That's it. Aligned personal relationships, you will not have to work hard to be needed. You will not be abandoned. You will not be loved for your function. You will just be loved for who you are. Now, it's possible that you've never experienced that kind of a personal relationship. You don't need to go out looking for it. You don't need to chase it. I think even holding this image in your mind that, look, I don't want to be in personal relationships anymore where I have to prove my worth. I don't want to be in personal relationships anymore where I have to keep giving in order to feel secure. Just holding this image in your mind is going to ultimately lead you to connections and people who are going to be in the right relationship with you. But even again, I'm repeating myself, but just holding this in your mind is also going to allow you to see your healing capacities differently. It's going to allow you to give to others as a healer in a very different way, in a way that doesn't take anything from you, but it's actually nourishing. Like when I read cards for other people, when I'm reading this for you, I feel it's not about me, but I feel nourished. I feel so much soul energy in this place because I am close to your soul. And at that level, we are all one. So giving to others in this kind of a way is going to feel nourishing to you because you're going to be in the presence of their soul. You're not going to need them to give to you at the material level, at the relational level. All right, pile 3. I hope this makes sense. I know that the message came out in pieces and in a halting way, but I hope that it made sense for you, and I hope that it's going to be the shift that you need right now. Sending you a lot of love, pile 3.